What's going on, you hipster nation? Welcome back to the channel. Let's get into this video. I hope you enjoy. Make sure you hit that subscribe, like, comment, and if you don't care, share the video with your friend. Stay in your lane or crash the damn thing. Here we go. What is going on, hipster nation? Yes, this is your boy Ray, and today we're going to bring you a video of a few different things. So today's title, The View and the Left Are Turning on Each Other. Now, this is what happens when you don't have a leader of your party. So let me see if I can share this screen. Da-da-da, bam, share. Okay, now what we're going to do is listen in real quick and see what Stephen A. Smith has got something to say to James Carville, because he
broadcasting, what have you. It's very kind of you. That part, very, very much so. Thank you very, very much. I do appreciate that.
Here we go. Let's see. He's going to get a little irritated.
The digital airways of YouTube and, of course, iHeartRadio. I'm going to get right into it. You know, I got love for y'all, and I'm always thanking my subscribers and followers, but I got a lot of stuff to get into, particularly this first item. There's a lot of stuff to talk about today, but this is the number one thing on my mind, and I'm not going to waste a second delaying, this onslaught that's about to come. We're going to get started with Democratic strategist James Carville, who felt the need to call me out on his Politicon podcast earlier this week. The Raging Cajun, as he is affectionately known, is apparently upset with my recent political commentary where I have been critical of the state of the Democratic.
This is how you know the left is changing, and they're turning on themselves, because this is why. Because one guy starts waking up and having a little bit of common sense, and the other guy still wants to stay the old ways and, do it the old way of Clinton ways.
Party. To refresh your memory, here's part of what I had to say earlier that got him all up in a tizzy. Check it out. That's why I'm in the news. I'm not in the news because I'm here. I'm in the news because the Democratic Party is here. Damn it, lower than that. Down at the bottom. They suck right now. Horrible. Because they don't have a voice. Where the hell is the voice? And everybody want to sit up there and talk about, we don't need a voice. 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 Well, guess what? Somebody got to send the message.
Exactly. Right there's the point Stephen A. was trying to make. They do not have a leader of the party. Everyone that went to the cliff, they jumped off. They went so far to the left, they jumped off the cliff. No one is willing to stand up and say, wait a minute, let's bring this back into the middle a little bit. This is a little extreme. And I'll tell you why. Because most of those people up there are activists. They're not congressmen. They're not, the left is put in so many activists that they're not really politicians. They're just activists. They stand out in the street and hoot and holler and want people to protest and all that. That's all they're doing.
How the hell can somebody receive a message if there's no messenger? In response to what you just saw me saying, that's when Carville evidently lost it, and he went on his Politicon podcast and had this personal message to give to me, even though it was seen by everybody. Take a look.
Okay, I am a big Stephen A. Smith fan. I remember I saw him some years ago on TV. When it comes to politics, he don't know.
Now, this is for entertainment only, but let me tell you something. This guy does not hold back. James Carville, he's freely speaking, so.
Was from a hole in the ground. He's on that running his damn mouth about how he may have to run as a Democrat because there's nothing left of the Democratic Party. There's no talent. Stephen A., are you me?
He's telling the truth. There's no talent in the left.
Are you friends with Josh Shapiro?
You don't see him stepping up, though, saying anything.
Really extraordinary, talented people.
There may be some talented people, James, but here's the thing. They're scared to stand up and go against the activist left. That's what it is. They're scared. They're going to be canceled. They're going to be booed out of the Democrat Party. That's why Josh Shapiro and all those, they don't stand up. They're not. That tells you there's not a leader in that party, because a real leader would stand up like Donald Trump and say, sit down and hush. I'm taking over. This is what our party's going to do, and that's it.
I got news for you, dude. That's 6 or 7 other people in the Democratic Party that are just that talented.
No, there ain't.
So before you start running your mouth off about politics, the topic of which you really don't know anything about,
getting heated, ain't it?
Sit back and think about it and call some people and run it by them. So Stephen A., keep up your on sports. I enjoy it. I like it, but don't make a fool of yourself anymore and talking about politics.
What I find interesting about all of this is that a lot of what James Carville himself has been saying sounds a lot like what the hell I've been saying. But before I get into that,
Well, they agree, but then they can't agree.
First order of business. So do you have?
I don't understand that either.
You know, dropping F-bombs and going going off like that. I mean, I know that's your nature. I understand that, but let's just say 2 can do that, I mean, if you really wanted to get raw.
If you want to get raw, he says. Yeah, well, let's get into my girl voice. Steven's going to get into his,
respect my elders.
Because when he starts getting loud, he goes into that squeaky voice.
And I'm trying to be respectful, so I'm not going to come at you the way that you came at me. I thought that was completely unnecessary. That's number 1.
Well, it was.
Number 2.
But this is what happens when you don't have a leader in your party.
I say I'm no political aficionado.
This is what happens when you do not have a leader with the party. This is what happens when the left falls apart. What are they going to do? They're going to turn on each other because they can't agree on, we need the woke. We need the, DEI. And then this old school says, no, we want to keep it like the old Republic or the old Democrats, the old, Clinton era or whatever. Well, that era's gone. You're in an era of yellow school buses and space invaders and.
I religiously say I don't know politics like that. I read, I watch the news. I'm a conscientious observer. But I do have to ask you a question, Mr. James Carville, albeit rhetorically. You do know that you're talking to a voter, right? Could that be one of the reasons why y'all lost? Just a thought. Because you sound like one of those old curmudgeons that want things to stay or be the way that they used to be.
Thank you.
And you're resentful, harboring an abundance of animosity because you're not being heard. That's not Stephen A. Smith's fault, sir. That's that damn Democratic Party that I was talking about. You see, they shouldn't listen to me. Do you realize, James Carville, that means they shouldn't have listened to you either? Which makes no sense because we were both right. Because guess what? What I was saying is what you were saying. I saw you on Fox News. I saw you on CNN. I saw you on your podcast before the election. Where the hell you think I got some of the stuff from? When you were talking about the Democratic Party, I'm making that up. I'm making it up when you were lamenting their strategy. I'm making it up when I talked about Kamala Harris and not resonating with the audience. I'm making it up when I talked about woke culture. I'm making it up when I talked about they weren't focused on the right issues. I'm making that up. You didn't say any of those things? I tell you what, let's see the audience. Let's show the audience, rather, exactly what you said. I didn't say hear it. I said, let's show it to them so they can see your face. They know it's you. They know it's you, James Carville. This is you talking.
Oh, there's that voice.
We have no legislative power. We have no executive power. We have no judicial power. So when you're out of power, you're an opposition party.
Out of power? Out of power? I think he's in the second stage of a kid. We need him some crowns because he's crying. And he did, man. Listen to this. He's telling the truth. They have no power. They have nobody willing to stand up. And they didn't. And you know why? Because they jumped off the cliff, man. And he knew it. He said it.
And go and tell all of the people that are sending you and asking you for money, justify what you did justify what you did wrong, and tell us what you're going to do different. Because what you've done ain't worth a shit. Get your head around that.
Oh,
And
my
all of
Lord.
the Washington-based Democrats farting around, going to wine and cheese parties and talking about how misogynistic.
That's all they know how to do, is go to the wine and cheese parties and the steak parties and the chicken dinners on our dime, obviously, the taxpayers, because they're throwing a fit about, Doge coming in and cutting all this wasteful spending. Why are they throwing a fit? Why are they screaming in the streets? Because that's the money going into their pockets, into their campaigns. That's my belief.
So get your ass out of Washington and go work
Do
on
your
a
job.
2026 campaign and do penance.
I mean,
to
he
make up
literally
for
thinks,
goddamn arrogance and
see?
stupidity. Well, we
Now,
got
that man does not care to say what's on his mind, and that's good, because you shouldn't. If you're going to tell the party to wake up, you better wake up, because you're not going to have a party left. And they're in some deep stuff right now. I don't see them, exceeding anytime soon.
say we told you so. We told you this identity shit was disaster.
Identity
We told you to get out in
politics.
front of public safety.
But they didn't want to
You
listen.
didn't.
They tried to tell them.
We told you.
They didn't want to listen to an old 80-something-year-old man that was from the Clinton campaign. They wanted to push their radical agendas, and I tell you why. Because they're activists, AOC, all those people up there, the squad, they're activists. They're not senators, they're not Congress people. They may be in those rows or whatever, representatives or whatever. They're not. They rather sit in front of a camera and scream at the American people and tell the American people what's wrong with us, and instead of them doing their job. Like Jasmine Crockett. We're not in the habit of giving money out, because she has a problem with Doge and Trump giving people money. And I have a different opinion on that as well. And we're going to show that in another video. But
To have an open process and demonstrate the magnificent and staggering and deep talent that exists in the modern Democratic Party, you didn't.
really,
We told you to differentiate yourself from Biden, you didn't.
see?
I hate to be some fucking know-it-all, but all of these things are part of
The guy makes me just laugh so much. I love it, because he doesn't care. And I'm not, I don't agree with the guy's stuff. I don't agree with his politics, of course. But man, I mean, he's got to, he's telling somewhat of a truth, because it's not,
Everybody knows it as that. Former Transportation Secretary Pete Buttigieg weighed in with a take that surprised some people. Watch.
yeah.
What do we mean when we talk about diversity? Is it caring for people's different experiences and making sure no one's mistreated because of them, which I will always fight for? Or is it making people sit through a training that looks like something out of Portlandia, which I also experienced? And
He even had to sit through it. And now he's saying, oh no, this is crazy. And this is a guy that thinks he's going to make a run for the White House, in my opinion. Don't forget to hit that subscribe, like, comment. Yes, we are doing super stickers and super thanks, super chats, guys. Fixing to be doing membership. So if you want to help the channel grow, make sure you look into that. And if you're watching this video, look down there next to the save and share button. There'll be a big super thanks if you want to see this channel grow. Make sure you check it out. Check out the other videos I got in live streams we do.
it is how Trump Republicans are made, if that comes to your workplace with the best of intentions, but doesn't actually get at what we're...
How is Trump
what actually
Republicans
matters,
made?
what's actually at
Because
stake.
they are forcing people to watch every time somebody, firemen, police, whatever their job is, they go in, they're forcing them to watch the DEI movies and all that stuff. That's why he just said that. That's how a Republican is made, a Trump Republican, because they're sitting there looking at that bogus stuff like he just said he had to watch. And they're saying, man, I don't agree with this. This ain't common sense. This is radical woke stuff. So what are they doing? They're voting for Trump. And what did they do? They voted for Trump. But these ladies are just They can't handle it. They're going to turn on each other. And if you haven't noticed, Whoopi Goldberg has not been on for the last week. From my understanding, her and Caroline Levitt and them have a lawsuit on The View or on CBS or ABC. I'm sorry, excuse me, ABC. And maybe she has dropped it now. Maybe that they got Whoopi, the big time legendary star Whoopi Goldberg, on The View. She hasn't been there all week, but we're going to see come Monday morning if she's back or not. But we do know she's been missing all week. And rumor is that she's had to step down. Producers, they had a big blowout behind closed doors during a break, and she had to leave.
So do you agree with him that DEI initiatives drove voters to Trump? And what else can be done to make sure everyone is represented on an even playing field?
You know what I think?
Hang on. Tell us what you think, because you are one of the most dark-hearted people I know. This woman, I can't even talk when it comes to this woman because she is so radical. And these women act like they're journalists, and they're not.
I like Pete, of course, but I think he got that so wrong, and I think it was so tone deaf, considering what.
I like Pete, but anything you say comes before "but," you're full of shit.
What's going on? All of it. I thought all of it was tone deaf because what happened.
She doesn't like Pete. She doesn't like that. She likes people that agree with her. That's what she likes.
Happens is when from 1776 to 1965, you have basically white men in charge of everything, right? Women,
really?
People of color, we're left out of just equality of opportunity, that sort of thing. And I think when that equality starts popping up in terms of diversity program, equality now feels like oppression to those people who were at the top of the ladder.
Oppression.
Not necessarily because of their merit, but because of their identity, right? And so.
Sonny, you shouldn't get a job because of your identity or your color. You should be getting the job on merit, on how well you do the job and how much you know about the job.
In my view, when you look at the stats, it is really clear.
Which we all have our own view, don't get me wrong. But her view of the world would be all colored rainbows at the top and no one even knowing how to do the job. So
here, from McKinsey, actually, a consulting firm that Pete used to work for, that firm.
Right back to Pete. See, she's dogging Pete, but really undisguisable. If you watch it, you'll see what I'm talking about.
Found that companies with more diversity financially and socially outperform those that are less diverse. So the business case for diversity, equity, and inclusion, it makes sense. And I think we can all agree that we want our workforce to reflect what.
We can all agree, meaning if you don't agree with me, then I don't like you. So you have to agree with me. That's what all these ladies on The View do. You have to all agree. But if you have a different opinion, oh no, you're not, you're not woke enough, or you're not, to hell with you,
what our world looks like.
I think he does too, though, don't you?
No, I think he does. But my question, really, I think we need to reframe the discussion. If the problem is these programs, what is the solution? Should we just then depend on the benevolence of Elon Musk and white billionaires to hire women and people of color?
No.
Should we just?
That's not racist right there. That is not racist. That is not her being racist. Come on, man. I mean, white billionaires. She talks like that, like every American is a white billionaire.
Depend on corporations to, on their own, make
yes.
the workforce more diverse.
Yes.
They didn't do it from 17.
Yes. That is the choice that a private citizen, private business, or public business, not a federal government business, they have the choice to do. They should have the choice to hire based on merit and whoever they want, whoever is more qualified for the job.
1976 to 1965. Why do we think it's going to be any different?
Because it is different. We're living in 2025.
Most Americans, and I think everyone at this table, thinks that workforces, organizations are stronger when there's diversity and representation. What he's getting at, I think, is how do you actually achieve that? And I think that in this era, there's been almost this DEI industrial complex. And it's funny you mentioned McKinsey, because a lot of consultants get hired by big corporations to make people feel really good that they're achieving diversity because they put on a seminar, because you watch something, because you said Latinx instead of Latina. And I don't know that there's actually huge metrics. I've tried to find, because you can cherry pick and you can see them, that is actually working. What I would love to see is...
That's exactly what these ladies are doing. They're cherry picking what they want to do and which companies and, Elon Musk and this and that. They're
culturally, people wanting to have diversity, that's across the board, socioeconomic, racial, that people's lived experience, their religion, so that workforces do look like America. I think that's a perfectly reasonable place. And I think that's what he was saying. I don't think he's saying that we need to end any programs that include more
I'm
people.
going to take this from a different angle.
Oh, here we go with the cow.
The judge here was at the Institute of Politics, which is run by David Axelrod, our colleague and friend, respected political strategist, and he was responding to Pete Buttigieg to a question by Axelrod, basically saying that the DNC had turned into a caricature of diversity, equity, and inclusion.
Yes, all you guys went on is identity politics. You wonder why you lost? I mean, that is why you lost. Wake up. But they can't do it because these ladies still push this stuff every day on TV, and these people see this.
The part that is vexing me constantly.
Vexing me.
Every time I turn on the TV or go on social media, I see Democrats tarring and feathering themselves, self-flagellating themselves, talking about all the things that they do wrong and that they did wrong. And look, I think there's a place for that, but we've now had a month of Donald Trump, and I don't understand why every day.
So they're arguing, infighting, with each other. They're getting tired of seeing each other just complain, because that's all they do. They have no real leader. But right here, this Sal here is going to say, it's all Donald Trump's fault. Donald Trump's bad. Biden's good.
Democratic strategist, elder, sage person with a platform isn't out there laser focused on getting the American public to understand the horrible suffering
you guys had all them.
That Donald Trump had.
Lady, you had Joe Rogan, you had Elon Musk, you had all those big time people. You lost them because look at what you're pushing. The DEI. Hey, you're not qualified, but I'm going to put you at the top of my company. Yeah, right. If I owned a business and a company and it was growing, I'm not going to hire just because DEI. I'm not going to put somebody over somebody that's, no matter what color they are. I'm going to put the best person that fits that job, that is better at that job and more qualified in that position.
Has brought onto the American people.
Well, I want to jump in here because
they're truthfully saying, hey, none of you colored people or whatever are any good at anything. You should all get to have the top jobs and do this because you're colored. Now, if that ain't, racist, I don't know what. These ladies are nuts. And these people don't realize this, and they don't even see what these people are saying because that's what they're saying, DEI. You know what I mean? Like, hey, everybody should get these big top jobs because of your color. Well, that ain't right. No, you should be getting them based on merit, education, hard work, and if you're actually qualified to do the job. No matter what color you are.
The David Axelrod conversation you're talking about was in reference to the DNC winter meeting that happened over a few days, and I just want to show a quick clip of what went down.
You fight on.
This is why they're losing.
You fight on when you.
I gotta stop it. She's singing. They're gonna hit me on it. So we're gonna stop it there, guys, and we're gonna bring you some more video. I got a couple of more things I'm gonna be doing later on tomorrow. So because they're not done. They're still melting down. They're in arguing. They don't have a leader because that's what they're doing. They want to argue with each other and they want to just point fingers, and that's why they don't have a leader of the party. And good, run her again. Let J.D. Vance or a good Republican beat her. As long as they keep pushing that wackadoodle stuff, I don't believe they'll ever get back in. So make sure you hit that subscribe, like, comment, guys. Make sure you share this out to a buddy. And if you like this video, hit the thumbs up. That's all I ask. I hope you enjoyed. So stay in your lane or crash the damn thing.